Hello everybody, so in this video I'm going to talk about the Qingming festival here. And in English there's two ways of saying it. The first way is using like Chinese Qingming festival, and the second one is using like tomb sweeping day here. In Chinese we say it as 清明节 here. So in this festival, as we all know, we will visit the ancestors' tomb and sweep like the tombs here. But besides of the solemn aspects, the festival like also celebrates like the arrival of spring and the rejuvenation of nature here. So this is also like at the same time there's the arrival of spring as well here. So there's two aspects of it. One is the solemn aspects and one is like something that we should celebrate about it here. And it has a very long history as it. So it's originates from ancient China here. And this ancient China, the kind of festival here, it has its roots embedded in the traditions of the ancestor worships as well here. And this festival is linked to the cold food festival as 寒食节 here. And what is cold food festival, you might ask? Well, the cold food festival is like commemorates the 芥子推 here. So this way is like a royal retainer during the spring and autumn period. So it's 春秋时期 here. So the cold food festival involves refraining from lighting fires here. So that means that we don't want, if this is like the fire here, we don't want fire. We just eat the cold food. See what I mean? Like raw kind of foods, like fruit or anything that does not need fire to cook it there here. So this cold food festival eventually it started to merge and then merge to the, now it is the Qingming festival. And I'm going to write Chinese because it's a little more faster. So that's like for it's like little kind of history though here. So now that it's almost like a food custom here. So that is a little bit of a history here. So now all the way to the customs here. For the custom, as we all know, we have to like sweep the tombs here, tomb sweeping. That's what this like festival is all about here. So in the tomb sweeping is like one of the most central activities of them here. And like a lot of families will gather at the burial site of their ancestors, like to perform like some acts of respect, and like they will offer food, wine, and incense there to their ancestors there, and they will also burn joss paper here. So they will burn joss paper, in which is 香纸. Joss paper, yep. So this kind of joss paper is like kind of like the resources, because we all believe that there's like an afterlife for those who have died there. So in their afterlife, we burn the joss paper to them so that they can use it as resources like money. They can use like joss paper, although we don't know what they are going to like do with it in afterlife, because we don't know. Who knows what it will be like in heaven. So this one is like the tomb sweeping. So the second one is we can go spring outing here. So you might ask why. As we said before, because this one is also like at the same time it will celebrate the spring's arrival. So it is a good time to go out and appreciate the nature's like rejuvenation here. And in Chinese we call it 踏青. Like stepping on the green here, which is a very vivid way of saying it as well. And the third way is the willow branches here. And the willow branches, doing like those ceremonies here, they will often wear the willow branches on their heads or hang them on the doors, because we think that they can protect us from evil spirits here. The participants will all like wear the willow branch on their heads or hang them on the doors here. So that's for the custom part here as well. And now for the food traditions here. So at that time, the Qingming festival here, in my place because I live in Guangdong here. Yep. So in Guangdong, we will usually eat, the first one is 金猪, which literally means golden pig, but it's actually another way of saying 烧猪 here. So that's 烧猪 here is what we usually eat in the Qingming festival as well here. And next one, we will usually eat 艾词, and 艾词 is like 艾草 here. And 艾草, we normally just use the molding into little cakes here. Little cakes here as well. I'm going to show you a picture of 艾草 right now here. So in this picture, this one is 艾草 here. The one in the basket here, 艾草 here. So now if we go back to our whiteboard here. So we will mold them into like this kind of little cakes here. Of them as well here. So the next one we'll eat 甘蔗 here, which is these kinds here. So 甘蔗 is this one. And here is the picture of 甘蔗 here. So that is what we will eat in Guangdong for the food tradition as well here. And now for the follow-up of the Qingming festival here, we're going to talk about one thing, which is the China's 4 major traditional festivals here, which is 中国的4大传统节日. And what are these 4? The Spring Festival, Qingming Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, and Mid-Autumn Festival here. And you might ask, why are these 4 the 4 major traditional festivals of China? Well, there are 3 things. The first one is the official statutory holidays, and then the second one is cultural significance, and the third one is the intangible cultural heritage here. And by the way, these 4 festivals are called 春节、清明节、端午节 and 中秋节 here. So, these 4 are all in the intangible cultural heritage here. 国家级非物质文化遗产 is a very high kind of position and level to mark these 4 things there. And then these were inscribed in 2006 into the intangible cultural heritage right here. And then the cultural significance of them, they represent like the most profound and widely observed cycles of the Chinese spiritual and familiar life here. So you might think that they're the core themes of each festival. Why would they have like the family reunion, this kind of things? But actually it is. It's all about family, 团圆. Like in Spring Festival, we're going to celebrate the New Year, Chinese New Year, and the family reunion. Of course, we have to be together. And then in Qingming Festival, we have to remember our ancestors because or remembrance to the ancestor who has already died, to go to their graves there. And there's a remembrance for nature. And then here's a little note here. Qingming is the only one of the 24 solar terms that also hosts the state of major traditional festival here. So that's the great thing, because in the 24 solar terms, 24节气, there is Qingming, the fifth solar term of the total 24 solar terms is Qingming, not 清明节. 清明节 is for the day, which is the festival, and Qingming is for the solar term there. So that's the only one of the 24 solar terms that holds the state of a major traditional festival there. And then we have we going to go to here, go to look at the Qingming festival in particular here. Because we talked about the Qingming festival as a solar term, as we did, and also now we're going to talk about Qingming as a traditional holiday. So that because this holiday is by the government here, so that it means that we don't have to go to school or we don't have to do anything. So as a solar term here, Qingming is actually pretty happy So it's clear and bright. So as a solar term, there's nothing really sad about it. It's pretty happy. Otherwise, there. So the Qingming here, as a solar term here, it is the traditional Chinese lunisolar calendar here. The years divided into 24 solar terms and used to guide agricultural activity and seasonal transition. Because in the past we don't have clocks for like weather reports, so we relied on the solar terms to tell us when to grow our grains or when to do our crops here. So it is a little bit like it signals a period of like rising temperatures. Also increased rainfall, like if we have a rainfall and clear fresh air, so optimal condition for 踏青 or go spring outing there. And then it is like nature's function. It means to like it is an astronomical and phenomenological marker there. But at a traditional festival, Qingming Festival, which is also called Tomb Sweeping Day, is a little bit more serious than this. So, the day of the Qingming Solar Term is also involved in China's most significant traditional festivals here. So, this is the time for tidying up the graves and making offerings, ritual offerings here, a practice rooted in a Confucian filial piety here. And since 2008, it has become the public holiday, allowing families nationwide to participate in the commemorated rituals. And also, the humanistic function of the traditional festival here is like it is a social culture there, occasion for like the remembrance. Let me erase some of this. The remembrance of the family of our gatherings of our most families there who has died. So, to remembrance. Yep. And then the summary distinction is that Qingming as a solar term here as a natural and astronomical event designed to like go spring outings, but as the Qingming festival, the holiday there, like Qingming Jie, as an agricultural, as a cultural humanistic event designed to remember the ancestors here. And then the converge of these dimensions of Qingming is unparalleled in the Chinese calendar there. So that's it for like the Qingming festival here. I hope you enjoy it.